In this video, we're going to understand how to estimate the sales volume an ASIN might get. It's a very important thing because you might buy 1,000 units of an ASIN where it really only sells 100 units a month and you might be waiting 10 months for the product to sell out. So Amazon basically gives us quite a few different data points for us to use and understand the sales estimate. We use a bunch of other tools to interpret those data points, which give us an even better understanding. But there are many different data points which help us understand the sales estimate. And I'm going to go through these data points and when to use each one and which tools show us the best data, which help us understand how many units an ASIN might sell and really understand the sales volume, so we don't get caught in that trap. Now, this video is for everyone, basically for the new seller, but even for the advanced seller, because even advanced sellers make mistakes very often with this. And they might look at a data point and think it's good, but if you look a bit further into it, you understand that no, it's actually not that good. You probably shouldn't be buying that many units of this ASIN. So I understand even for new sellers, it might be very difficult sometimes. I remember back in 2018 when I first started selling, one of the first ASINs I bought was an ASIN with a BSR of 800,000. And for some reason, I thought that it was good. I thought that it was going to sell very fast. And lo and behold, I only sold like 2 units within a whole year. So that was a learning lesson. And after that, I really tried to understand sales estimate and sales volume a lot better. And obviously now I'm at the point where I understand these and I want to show you guys how you can use the data points and the tools that you use on a regular basis to really understand sales estimates a lot better. So with that said, let's jump into it. Let's now go over some of the data points that Amazon provides for us and how we can use these. So the first one is the bought in the past month, where it says 2,000 bought in the past month. Now, let's put a pin in that and go down and see the other one, which is in the product details, which is this bestseller rank. So this one here, the bestseller rank is 1,451 in industrial and scientific. Now let's go back to the bought in the past month and let's explain that a bit further. Now, those data points are visible to everyone, not just us Amazon sellers, even the consumer can see those data points. So it's important to note that and how we use that using our tools later on. So the bought in the past month, it's probably a very important data point. It's fairly new. It's only been around a couple years, but it's very, very important. Now, if there are no sales or if there are anywhere between 0 and 50 sales, there will be nothing appearing there. It won't show any data in that portion. And I'll show you an example of this. So let's shift over to another ASIN where there's nothing there. So you see over here, it doesn't display that data point. See this one here, it doesn't display the data point. Let's go back to the first ASIN. We see it says 2,000. The second ASIN says 200 here, 200 plus. This one says 100 plus. All right, let's scroll back over to our first ASIN. So 2,000 plus sales per month. So if it's anywhere between 0 and 50, it doesn't display anything. It starts showing a number at 50 plus. So 50 plus will mean anywhere between 50 to 100 sales per month in the past month. 100 plus will mean anywhere between 100 and 200 sales in the past month. 200 plus would mean 200 to 300 sales in the past month, and that keeps going up all the way to 1,000. At 1,000 plus, that means anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 sales per month. 2,000 plus is 2 to 3,000 sales per month, and that again goes up all the way to 10,000. At 10,000, you make a big leap, and it's anywhere between 10,000 and 20,000 sales per month. At 20,000 plus, it's 20 to 30,000, and that keeps going up to 100,000. I'm not too sure. I think it pretty much stops at 100,000. So that's how you understand the bought in the past month. Now let's go over down to the sales rank. So this is the sales rank over here. Now the sales rank for this is currently, the current sales rank at this moment in the last hour or so is 1,451 in industrial and scientific. Now it's very important to note that there's a number and a category. So that is a sales rank. That means how well this product ranks within the category of scientific and industrial and scientific. So there might be millions of products or ASINs within this category. This one ranks for 1,451 at the current moment in this category. I just wanted to insert this portion into the video because I forgot it the first time filming. Now, the important thing about the sales rank is that this number is recorded, not by Amazon, but by Keepa and Astro and all these other tools. So for example, the Keepa chart, when we look at the sales rank, we see this green line and we can actually kind of track the numbers and see where they're at. Every half hour to an hour, roughly, these tools record these data points. And if, in Astro, if we remove some of these other ones, we can see that the we can see the numbers. Basically, we can see that it's all being tracked, and we can see the last 3 months of data just here, and we can see exactly where the numbers are. We use these numbers as well. If we see the numbers trending upwards, the sales rank trending up, we know that the sales rank is, the actual estimated sales are dropping. If we see the numbers trending downwards, we know that the sales are increasing. There's more and more sales. The more they drop, the more that means they're going closer to 1, meaning it's a higher sales rank. The more they go up, it means that they're going bad. And we also capture the averages of these, the last 30 days, for example, or 90 days, 180 days, and we can see the average BSR, the average sales rank, basically of these numbers, and that gives us a clue into how the sales are trending for this given ASIN. All right, back to the video now. Every single drop might translate to 5 or 10 sales. But in the very high sales rank, if it's like 300,000 or 400,000, every single downtick, every drop in the BSR that's displayed here will mean only 1 sale. So that kind of gives us an understanding of how many products, how many units an ASIN might sell in the higher ranks. In the lower ranks, it's very hard to understand the sales volume based on the drops. So now, how do we put all these data points together? Now, this one here has 2,000 in the past month sales according to Amazon, and we see that when we track the sales rank, we see that this has a low sales rank of 1,471. Now, those two are very in line. It's very likely that the 2,000 plus basically the estimate of 2,000 to 3,000 sales in the past month is accurate, because we see a low number. Now, there are a few times where Amazon kind of makes a mistake and the data that they show us is wrong, where you might see a product with 2,000 plus bought in the past month, but the BSI is 300,000 or 400,000. In that scenario, don't trust the bought in the past month, trust the sales rank. The sales rank is more accurate in this scenario if he has a very high sales rank, and the bought in the past month is also very high. So it's understanding which ones to basically trust. Now, the next scenario is when there is a variation. So if you're going to look at only the sales rank to estimate a product, and it has a very low sales rank, meaning it sells a lot of units if you go on by that, if there is a variation in the mix, it will mix everything up. So basically, when there are 10 variations within an ASIN, that basically means that all those ASINs share the sales rank. So Amazon around 6 years ago, every single ASIN was individualized by its BSR, and then they decided to combine them all together, and the BSR accommodates for all the ASINs within a variation set, and it confused a lot of sellers, and a lot of tools didn't really know how to react to this, and they still showed some discrepancies when they display these numbers. But in this scenario, basically, if you see a BSR that's very low and there's a lot of variations in them, one of the best things you can do is use either Keepa's variation viewer right there, and you can use the bought in the past month, or if you're using Astro, you can use the variation viewer right there, and you can also see over here. So this one, for example, gets 2,000 in the past month. This other ASIN in the variation gets 100. So together, these are the ASINs that accommodate for the BSR. Now, when a product sells in very low volume, so for example, let's scroll through to a couple of different ASIN over here. So this ASIN gets 0 in the past month. And we can see why. It's got 251,000 sales estimate, so that's a very high sales rank. So that means that it has no bought in the past month, and we estimate basically that it sells very few units. Now, in these scenarios, this is where we basically look at the drops. So this one says 10 drops. If it has 10 drops, that means it probably only sold 10 times in the last month. So that gives us an understanding of how many it sells. So now in this scenario, there's no bought in the past month that you see over here, bought in the past month is missing. So that's when we should go off the drops. So this one again, 10 drops per month. It's 330,000 at the moment. In beauty and personal care, we understand that it gets 10 sales per month. But if the bestseller rank was very low, if it was only 1,000, then it will probably have a few hundred drops, but those drops will not mean how many sales it gets. It probably gets thousands, but then the bought in the past month will appear in the scenario. Hope that doesn't confuse you. So just to go over these again, just so we can understand what's going on. So the first and best indicator of the sales estimate on an ASIN is the bought in the past month. That is only wrong if there's a very high sales rank. If there's a very high sales rank and the numbers don't really equate to each other, that's when you should probably base your estimate off the sales rank. Now, the sales rank is usually can be skewed by the amount of variations within an ASIN. So if there are 10 or 20 variations, know that that sales rank will accommodate to all of those ASINs within the variation set. That's when you should go back to the bought in the past month. Now, if there's a very high sales rank, it's in the hundreds of thousands, then you should base your estimate off the sales drops, how many times the BSR, the green line on the chart, drops down. That is then the most accurate way to understand this. If a product is part of a variation set, again, you're back to the bought in the past month. I hope this video gave you a better understanding of sales estimates and how many units an ASIN might sell. If you want to hear more information from me, like and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to subscribe to Astro Advanced Analytics, it's in the description below. Link, you can see that. And you can also join my Telegram group where we go over these strategies, and we're a large community of sellers that all help each other out and try to all achieve success. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.